Hi everyone, VortexTCG here, and today I've got a gameplay video, the first gameplay video of BT14 Blast Ace, and it's the first day of Blast Ace, so you know what that means. It's best deck of format, and I'm going to be playing Fenriloogamon, and my opponent on the right is going to be playing Royal Knight, probably one of the more popular decks out of BT13. There is a proxy in use here, as you can see, the backwards card. It is a Loogamon. I was supposed to borrow one off from a friend, but he forgot it, and we couldn't find one, so apologies for that. But it's all good, because just a quick explanation of Loogamon allows me to put an EG underneath, and then if I do, I gain a memory, and then I can do that from hand or trash, and then its inheritable is when I play a Dark Animal / SOC, I get a memory. So pretty simple card in my opinion, but yeah, so I pass the turn by going to Black Gatomon and then playing out the EG, because you can do that at the end of the turn. Fenrir is a very interesting deck from the testing that I've done so far. I like the locals that I went to from, this has been recorded from, my first game was kind of meh, this one was kind of air too, and then the third game I felt like I got the hang of the deck overall, and there's a lot of things going on. So my opponent goes to the Dynasmon here, gives me 2 memory, and I'm just thinking about some additional cards. So I swing into security with the Black Gatomon. Predominantly you want those in the trash, because if you go into your Fenrir you could play out them for free, because that's a fair and balanced card in my opinion. So I go Fangmon here, and Fangmon is a very interesting card in the deck, but it doesn't feel great at all times. The return is mandatory. It doesn't say you may, it says you have to. But in this case, I decided to go into Fenriloogamon to delete, get a draw to put the Loogamon back into my hand, and then I get to trash cards that are SOC or / Dark Animal to delete at level 3, and then for each one I add, I can delete level 6. So I delete the Dynasmon here because I don't really want him to continue building to his clock. He goes, I believe there's Purge of the Royal Knights, which allows him to put a Gallantmon underneath, and that Gallantmon is very scary. The issue that I think I have in this matchup is the fact that I feel like I can't really swing at security that much. And the reason why is because all of his stuff is high DP. So essentially what I need to do is build up into a stack of Fenrir, and then Alliance for about like 14k, I think is the safe number, to make sure that I stay alive. So it doesn't feel great in that regard, but you got to do what you got to do. So I get a memory here from the EG. Apologies for the glare. Go into the Loogamon. Again, it's the proxy. Yeah, so now it's just a case of how do I do this turn, because I'm at 5 memory, and I think here I just hard play the Fenrir, which allows me to end a turn, just delete itself to draw 2, and yeah, I think at this point I was lacking level 4s, which was very frustrating. I think here I'm just thinking if I want to delete one of the level 6s so he doesn't have another one for the follow-up in regards to the Omnimon, but I decide not to, so I just pass the turn back to him and he gets more reduction that way. And I'm quickly realizing that my steam has gone. I think one of the issues that you have with a deck like Fenrir Loogamon is that you're playing less cards at the level 3, the level 4, etc. Well, not in the level 4, but there's one card that you definitely don't want to go in the level 4, and that's the Black Gatomon. So it feels a bit awkward in that situation. I get to play the EG back from the Loogamon. Again, this is a proxy, apologies. So that allows me to gain Alliance and Blocker. And this Mind Link is actually quite interesting, I will say. I'm actually looking forward to see where this mechanic goes, because I actually find it quite interesting. So I trash a card and draw 1, and then I get to Digivolve into the Soul Loogamon here, which allows me to play out level 3 out. And then when I'm attacking, I get... Oh, I'm thinking about if I want to go into level 4, because I do have EG, which increases the level by 1. But I go to the Fascomon. I then go and trash another card, which will then allow me to gain another memory. And at this point I'm thinking if I want to, I think I mess up here, because one of the things I didn't realize is that you can activate the egg multiple times, I believe, because it says it's not a once per turn effect, it just says when you would discard a card. So I assume you're able to go into a level 6 very quickly with this effect. So I think I messed up there, because I definitely had the Fenrilooga in hand, I believe, at that point, which is very frustrating. And this is one of the things that I actually do like to show on this channel. Like, I want to show that I am progressing with a deck and learning the deck as we go, because I think that is very important, especially for, you know, learning and, you know, growing your, like, realization and skill with a deck. So this is definitely a learning lesson for me. But he goes into Gallant, deletes the Fasco. I get to draw one and then discard one, but he gets another swing. So I feel like at this point I don't really have a good idea on how I'm going to win. I can see in his hand that he has the Omnimon already, so it's just a case of my opponent is going to be setting up, and he's got 2 blockers now. I can't really do anything about that, so at this point I'm pretty sure that I have lost this game from this point, because I can't really swing on this turn, and I don't really have enough going. So maybe there's some situations where I could have used the training boost a little bit early so I can get some more advantage going, but yeah, definitely a little bit on me here, because if I realised what the deck fully did, I could have gone into the Fenrir, would have been able to you know, alliance the Fasco or whatever I bring out, and then be able to swing for a multiple and then unsuspend and then continue the swing. So definitely something that that would have actually mattered quite a bit in my opinion. So now it's just a case of, is there any way that I can survive? So the only way that I do keep on being alive in this game on the following turn is that if he just doesn't have the Omnimon. Sometimes Royal Knight players just don't find it, so I just play the Black Gatto, and I think I messed up here because I played the analog first and then the Black Gatto. I think obviously it makes sense. I play the Black Gatto first, then swing, and then play the analog to pass turn. Apollo, like, it's just those things you have to learn. Like, what are you doing? But my opponent's got the Omnimon, so it's just a case of anything Sakuri. Spoiler, there isn't, and we go to game 2. And now we are in game 2. I get to start off with a Gabumon, and then I'm going to be passing the turn by going into the training. And this is a choice that would come to haunt me later on, but I'm thinking about the Lugamon here, but I think in my mind I want to search a little bit further, so I decided to add the training, and that search pretty much seals my game here, if I'm being perfectly honest. Definitely a more greedy choice here to go into the, you know, another training boost to search the deck out even more. But yeah, it definitely wasn't the right choice there from what happens later on in this game. So at this point, my opponent is just playing his deck perfectly. I mean, he got the Magnamon on turn 1 and then goes into the System on Blanc. Like, not really much else you can do about that, right? So I go into the EG, have to hard play it because I don't really have much aggression going on here. And now it's just a case of, what do I do now? But I go to training boost, I find a level 4 and another training, and at this point, the lack of level 3 is going to haunt me because essentially I don't have anything in raising, and I kind of need that thing in raising to be a little bit more aggressive than I should be, essentially. So yeah, the Garumon's quite nice here because it still gains me a memory if it does survive, but he's going to play the Marcus and then it's going to delete the guy. So yeah, not feeling very good. So I don't have anything to Digivolve on top of, so you're going to see one of the greatest turns ever, and that's play a training boost. Don't hit level 3. You know what, I deserve this for not going into level 3, I think. So I can't really blame anyone else but myself, especially as I've gone through like two different searches at this point and like 2 draws of a turn. So yeah, at this point I'm just considering I just need to thin the deck, essentially. I need to do as much as I can to make sure that I have stuff in my hand. And I think here I just give him 3 by playing the Black Gatto here because I kind of just need to play this guy. And if this guy survives, I could do some stuff. And it is the cheapest one I could play. This one is a play cost of 5, whereas the other level 4s I believe have a play cost of 4. He plays Purge, which allows him to draw 1 and put 1 underneath. He puts an Omnimon underneath, so if that isn't revealing, then I don't know what is. But it essentially just says he has the Omnimon in hand, so it's just a case of if I'll be able to survive. But he plays the L-Force here, and I think at this point, I know the game is over, because I still don't have a level 3 in hand, he's bouncing my stuff back, and even if this was to be returned into Yggdrasil, he could just play out again, and it's not a on-play effect. It's just when it's played. So it doesn't feel great in this situation for sure. So yeah, so you're going to see a familiar play of Gatomon pass, but in my mind, I think if I can force the Purge to do this, maybe I still have a fighting chance in this game. But as you probably I've been alluding to this whole game, it doesn't help out in this situation. So he's going to Purge, play the Old Force, bounce it back to hand, and I go, uh-oh, very quickly. So he swings in security, doesn't die. It's the sole Lugamon there. And now it's just a case of how he's going to pass the turn. And I believe he's going to pass the turn by just doing a Dynasmon search. I think that's what he's looking over. Oh no, it's the Ganku, which allows him to play the Dynasmon anyways, to add 2. And yeah, it's not looking good. Essentially, now he has a full swing turn. I finally find the Luga, but you know, it's way too late now. Go into the Lugramon, I believe this is. I think these are all brand new Digimon, by the way, from the new Digimon Seekers anime. I think the actual designs are pretty cool. I don't think there hasn't really been much of a wolf design kind of thing. It's pretty cool, in my opinion. But yeah, at this point, I'm just thinking, how do I win this? Oh, I don't win this. Uh-oh. So Lugamon. Draw 2. Maybe I should have done this sooner, because then I could have got the draw sooner. But yeah, definitely something I should have considered a bit earlier. But I think at this point, like, I'm going to discard 3 and I would target the Gankumon, but unfortunately he does have the decoy, so I can't really do that much. But I'm discarding 3 here so I can fuel up my discard if I ever get a turn. Spoiler, as you're going to see very quickly, he's counting it up, and what does he go? Oh, what's he going to go? Bam! It's the Wincon, and he is pushing everything up, and I am crying inside. Not really, but you know, it spells the end of the game. Swing a couple times, and he wins the game.